What is up, you beauties? My name is BatchatBegins. Welcome back to another update tank review, and today we're taking a look at one of my favorite Tier 6 tanks in the game. That's right, it's the M18 Hellcat, the American Tier 6 tank destroyer, the one with all the mobility, and the one with now a ferocious gun. This thing got a buff in patch 7.5, taking 2 full seconds off the reload of this gun. 2 seconds. That's insane. I already loved this tank. But now it's become an absolute monster. If you're using rammer, as you can see, you have a 5.5 second reload for 225 alpha damage. That's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. And they've also buffed the track traverse. That was another one of the big downsides for the Hellcat. So now, what does the Hellcat really struggle with anymore? Well, the one really big downside of the Hellcat is it does not have any hit points really to trade with. It can be one-shot by any 152mm gun, and you'll see those quite often in Tier 6 and Tier 7. You'll see KV2 drivers playing their tanks, you'll see smashers, SU-152s, you'll run into all sorts of things that can absolutely chunk your hit points away to the point where you're going to have to play passive for the entirety of the rest of the game. And that happens quite often. You'll see like double annihilator platoons. That's one that's become quite popular recently. And so with this tank, what do you do to actually succeed in the game? Well, you have to play passively at the beginning, and you have to find out where the enemy are so that you can position correctly in order to take advantage of people who aren't paying attention to you. That is one of the biggest things to do with tanks that have an incredible reload and a lot of DPM. As you can see, Droodles is playing his non-armored TD a little bit too far forward here on the Hellas map, and he's going to get a bit punished for it. But what we're going to do is we're going to try and remain playing here at the back line and farming the enemy team while they focus on our friendly tanks, and that's going to whittle down their hit points so that later on in the game they won't have much to deal with, and we can pick them off one by one if necessary. And you will see, it will come down to that. But we'll stick on what we can deal with at the moment. This STRV is quite the threat when it is hulled down because of that turret. But while he's in the open, I can go ahead and take some HP off of him. But as you can see, we're quickly running out of targets to actually fire at right now. And we've lost our last medium tank that was on the medium side to the WZ. So now we're in a bit of a pickle, and I don't really have teammates with a ton of hit points right now, so I have to decide on my targets very carefully. I really do want to kill that STRV, that is important to me, and I do want to try and get some shots into this KV2. We got a really lucky shot into that KV2, which ricocheted, I think, off of his gun mantlet and back into his hull. But the really important thing is to try and get some damage into the medium tank here so that he can't actually deal with us later. Unfortunately, we do not land a finishing blow on him, and the WZ is going to go unspotted, which is bad for us. So we've missed that shot now on him. So we have a 700 health WZ, a 1-shot, or potentially 2-shot VK, a 1-shot STRV, which has already died actually, a SU-100, and a nearly full health KV2. And we're down to myself and Droodles, who is a 1-shot, and this could not be going worse if we possibly tried. There goes Droodles. So now it's all up to me, 1 versus 4, in the new buffed Hellcat. Can we use this DPM to absolutely carry this game? Well, we're going to make the WZ miss, first of all, by staying hull down as possible, and then backing up, trying to make the VK look like we're running away, but we're actually going to pull out backwards and shoot him, get a nice high roll into the VK, finishing him off. We have just enough health. If we need to take a shot from the SU-100, we can. I did not know where he was going to pop up at, otherwise I would have been pre-aimed, but we are able to take him out. Now, we are 86 health versus at least a 3-shot KV2. And this is where the mobility of the Hellcat on soft terrain is going to come in key. I know that the KV2 is somewhere behind me. He was last spotted near the cap, and so I'm going to run away and reposition while I have the chance. I do not want to get into a close-range brawling fight with this KV2. As you can see, I have to stay here now because I'm kind of boxed out. But what we don't want to do in this situation is panic and throw the game. We need to be having in our mind what the next position is so that we can go ahead and move towards it. My thought process in this point in time was to make distance between myself and the KV2. That's one of the biggest things you want to do with mobile tanks that can outspot the enemy, is make distance, try to outspot them, get shots in before they can actually see you, and therefore you have the advantage if you can continue doing that process. In the heat of the moment, I actually did not hear the KV-2 fire. I didn't hear the sound audio cue from the video game, but I decided I was going to sit in this bush right here, and that potentially if he was going to pop around the corner, I could get a shot into him before he was able to actually see me. Unfortunately though, because of the tree that's on my right over here, the KV-2 does manage to cross, and we end up having to reposition away. But this is actually a good thing, because even though we didn't know that the KV-2 was on our right side and starting to head back towards his spawn, we're going to be able to surprise the KV-2 as well, because he didn't know that we took a roundabout route to come back and see where he is. So in my mind, I thought the KV-2 was going to be right here next to the dead WZ tank destroyer. But he isn't, in fact, and as soon as we pop up here, we are going to see exactly what the enemy KV-2's plan was. He decided that since I was running away, he figured I was going to try and stall the game, which I have no intention of doing. And I'm going to try and use my view range and my mobility and this newfound DPM that the tank has in Update 7.5 to go ahead and outplay a tank that has a ton more health than I do. As you can see, the KV-2 has fired. He is going to be on approximately an 18 or so second reload, and I need to get in here with my good track traverse, with my good speed, and with the good DPM. Can a 5.5 second reload Hellcat take on a 1v4 and defeat a nearly full health KV-2? Well, it sure as hell can in Update 7.5. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video. We were able to take down a 2.8k Call of Banov's First Class Mastery Badge in this game. All relevant links will be down in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next one.